Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we got Kieran back on. I haven't spoken to him since we've, outside of council stuff, I haven't spoken to him since I started playing the game. We were going to talk about it before we jumped into it, but we thought we'd save it for on camera. We're going to touch on the beta itself, how I've been enjoying it, and then we're going to go into a bunch of land sale related stuff. But Kieran, good to have you on again, mate. How you been?
Thanks, Falcon. Not too bad. A little bit sick this week, but doing well now.
Nice, dude. So like I said, the first thing I want to say is game is sick. I've had to limit myself this week. I've set myself a limit on gameplay because I was doing none of my other stuff that I need to do to make a living, and it was screwing me for about a week and a half. So I've cut down, but honestly, I look at it when I started playing it. Obviously, it's still early in the beta process. You know, we've only got one game mode. There's a lot of things missing, but just from a polish point of view, from a first beta and a mechanics point of view as well, it's just absolutely fantastic. I just think when I look at the crypto space in general for gaming, I don't see anything that's really coming close, at all. And then if you put this game out in as a non-crypto game in the general market, when you look at every other auto battler, I don't think there's one that's presented this well. And on top of that, I know this is something that Aaron is very passionate about, which is the deterministic non-RNG side of the game. And it's just for competitive sense, I just don't see this not working well. It's absolutely fantastic. How have you been going? Have you been playing much, or have you been too busy working?
So, yeah, I share a lot of the same thoughts. Basically, I had to ban myself from playing as soon as we got in, and now you sort of see 2 months ago, 3 months ago, when I finally played it on PC, and I was like, whoa, just open this up. Grant and I were sitting there and we're like, this is way further ahead than any other blockchain game. So who cares if it's 15% of our product suite? Just launch it. Now, unfortunately, when you're trying to build out something of the size that we are, you got to go through the correct process, and our back-end team is making sure that everything is secure, everything in terms of, penetration testing. We're just slowly rolling it out. But in terms of is it able to sit on its own inside of Web3 right now, this survival mode? Without a doubt, right? 100%. I think you're seeing that. I think a lot of other streamers out there and people who are lucky enough in the Discord to get in, they're seeing that now. And it's funny that you say, where would you even stack up against a Web2 game? I'm a bit of a troll on Twitter and stuff like that. I feel like saying all right, we're dead here now in Web3, and obviously we're not, right? But if we just made it a little theoretical situation and we just went poof, Web3's gone. Where does your game line up against mainstream games? Is what I would like to ask all of the Web3 projects that are out there. And if it lines up somewhere between 1995 and 2010 indie mobile gaming, probably not going to make it, right? This space has huge amount of builders that are in stealth mode, and they're not going to produce something that is indie, that is small scale. They're going all in. And they've proven that they can do it in Web 2, so they're going to be doing it in Web 3. And so my point is, just because they're not here now doesn't mean they're not going to pop up in the next 2-3 years. So that's why I'm so happy with what we've built, because if that happened, I would be more than happy to say that we can compete with the likes of TFT and Pokemon, the two games the two genres that we're going after.
And I think on top of that, I know Grant always speaks about the limitations of stuff he wants to do but can't do because of, the blockchain and security. You could go even further with mechanics and everything like that and get it done a lot quicker as well. So, yeah, it's insane. And with the beta, I can't wait because I know Aaron's been talking about like a competitive survival mode where you go one-on-one with someone else. It randomly generates a deck and enemies, and then you get one shot at it. That's what I'm hanging out for. I'm sick of all these fuckers playing casual and getting on the leaderboards. We got to can that. We got to get some proper competitive play. I can't wait for that side of things. But yeah, dude, it's going sick. But the main purpose of this one, we wanted to talk about the land because we do have the land sale coming up. And I just had a few topics that I wanted to get. We'll try and do this in like 15, 20 minutes. I know we always drag it out and it fucking goes on way longer than we expect to, but we'll see how we go. So the first thing I've seen a little bit about is the land sale. We've got the date, but are we actually going to delay it? Because like the market's on fire. Like everything in crypto is down. People are panicking. They're just losing their shit. Everyone's clicking sell as fast as they can. They're paying 800 Gwei on Ethereum to sell everything and they're losing more than what they're selling. Is that going to delay things again, or are we good?
No, I don't think so. I mean, unless someone put through an IIP to change, an ICCP really, to change the date, then we're gonna go full steam ahead. It doesn't, we can't control the market. It's just not possible. And so what we can control is the stuff that we build, and we have built the land. It's Illuvium Zero is an awesome game. This is only one of 5 land sales that we're going to be doing. If we sit here and try and cherry pick the best times in the market for when we're in bull runs or not in bear markets or whatever, it's going to screw with our internal product release, right? Like we can't start. It's my opinion that we can't start delaying based on potential short-term downs, right? There's 2-3 years of products that we need to release, so it would be just too hard.
Yeah, and this is only 20% of the land as well. We're still going to have more land sales in the future, so it'll all balance out. And I think those ones are the ones that are really going to be heavy revenue generators. I think this one, people should look at it as a chance to get land cheaper. If you're putting fiat in now, I know a lot of people just have everything in crypto anyway, but if you've got fiat that you're putting in, this is just like getting it on sale essentially. And, it's showing that, everyone's scared to do anything at the moment. And if you're going to get it, you might be getting it at a good deal. And then you can earn that revenue once the game launches, from fuel sales and stuff like that. So that's the big thing. That's the way I'm looking at it personally. I just see it as a sale. Now, with that sale, how do you view the tier 5s? So we're going to have, I know Andrew's posted that they're going to do a streaming event and stuff like that for the tier 5 land sale. I just wanted to get into that because that's sort of like the hype phase of the land sale, and I can't wait to see it. So what exactly do we have planned for that? And what kind of prices do you see? Like I know obviously you don't know, but what's in your mind for like price range on tier 5s?
Yeah, so we put a reserve. So we've actually gone out to a couple of partners to discuss sponsorships. Because as you know, the tier 5s, they hold the arena. The arena is where we're going to be running the esports tournaments. As you also know, we're looking to break the record for those esports tournaments. And so we're looking to, we've gone out to a bunch of our partners and said, we want to, before the sale, show that there's interest in people purchasing the naming rights, so like sponsoring that tier 5 plot to get their name on the all of the marketing material. When you're talking about running the largest esports tournament in the world, and you might have CoinGecko Arena or Crypto.com Arena or some large Web3 brand that wants to join and be part of this movement, we wanted to go out and show that we could do that preemptively for the tier 5 owners. And we've done that. And so they're going to be starting off at a minimum reserve price of it's in ETH, so it's probably dropped a little bit. It's around about $500,000. But I don't know, man. Like, I've been talking to some big VCs, and they're holding their cards tight to their chest, but at the same time, there's been a lot of numbers around the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mark where people are willing to go up to. And it seems crazy, but it doesn't as well, because these arenas are going to be hosting tournaments constantly. And you're talking about so many different, it's literally, you're investing in a business, like you're creating your own business within Illuvium. And in terms of like getting that exposure of your brand, you saw how crazy Axie was back, 12 months
100%.
ago. If we have that similar run, and that sponsor and that partner is coming on that run with them, it's huge for their brand. And so there's opportunities for that. So that's sort of like, that's how the sale is going to go. It's going to be an English auction, so not a Dutch auction, which the tiers 1 to 4s are running in. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have like a live. Andrew's going to be doing a live stream at the time, so he's going to be like your auctioneer. Like, oh no, we got another bid in for someone's just outbid Framework, and oh my god, we got a new player. Binance has jumped into you know what I mean? Like that's sort of what we're hoping for. And obviously then, before everyone decided to leave crypto, but
and then on top of that though, like we talk about ridiculous numbers, which this isn't like sort of applicable to most people. We'll get to most people's stuff in a minute, but I just want to touch on this because if we get some ridiculous sale prices and it's like the mainstream media pick up on like this digital stadium sold for, $3-5 million, like it becomes this like, why? And then that's just good marketing in itself as well. On top of that, for anyone else that can't afford a tier 5, which is 99.99% of people, there's still revenue distribution if you're staked. So if it's not, if it's not like the largest amount, it's still something, which is fantastic. So I'm keen for it. Now I got to know, are you going to go for a tier 5 yourself?
Nah, I'm not going to. I thought about it. I mean, firstly, I don't know if I can afford it. That's the first thing. But secondly, it's too much to manage. Yep. Like it genuinely is another business. Like if you buy it and you're just like a whale who's like, I just want it to appreciate and value over time, you're not going to extract the value out of it that you really can. Yep. Like, this to me is the Web3 Super Bowl, right? Like this yearly tournament that we run that just has a disgusting amount of prize money in it is going to be a huge event for, as you say, where people are like, holy shit, you hear all about the Super Bowl ads and promoters. It's that big of an event. That's what we want to create inside of Web3. Yeah. Now, you used to stream, you still do, but you used to stream mainstream games. Now, if you're playing a mainstream game, let's call it Pokemon, right? You got Pokemon, there's a tournament, and you hear about this other game. Now, it's a collectible game. You battle those collectibles. A lot of similarities there. And you're used to going and playing tournaments where they drop 100K prize money. Then all of a sudden, you're just going along your way, and one of your YouTube fans comments and goes, hey, have you seen the Illuvium prize pool of $10 million? Now, you've never heard of this before. Let's call it $50 million. At that point, you're almost going to be like, this guy's on crack. Like, who is this guy? Like, what is even Illuvium? But you're probably going to look it up, right? Now, you look that up. Are you going to come across and play that just purely based on the prize money?
100%. Like it's like I remember, and the boys were even talking about TFT. When you and Grant threw that first tournament, you did the community tournament for anyone that had beta. And I can't. What were you doing? Like $1,000 or whatever it was, and then the second one was $5,000. And the boys were like, TFT, they're doing like their big tournament for the year, and I think like first place got like $3,000 or something, and it was like, you know, like the amount of revenue that those creators make for that game because they keep the engagement going and all that sort of stuff, and then the biggest tournament they can't even, like, you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable to me. So the whole system that Illuvium lends itself to with revenue distribution, and just like everything, it's a no-brainer to me, and on top of that, you got a quality game as well.
100%.
But you did mention that it becomes like a job. Now that's something that I wanted to touch on, because for everyone, myself included, when I look at land, I still don't know what I'm doing. I still have not made up my mind. I'm so indecisive about it because I know Illuvatars are coming out and I'm loving the Illuvatars. But one of my concerns with land was, if I buy land, it's not my favorite type of game personally, the city builder type thing. I know there's some people in the Discord that all they care about is Illuvium 0, which is awesome. But for me, I'm all about the auto battler side of it, not so much the land side. And I was like, is this going to become a chore that I'm just not even going to enjoy? Can you talk a little bit about lending and capacities for guilds and stuff like that, and the whole borrowing system of them so you can own them as the asset and then you don't actually have to grind and maintain them?
Yeah, so we're setting it up. You hit the nail on the head, right? Like, and I'm in your boat as well. An idle clicker, and even though it's moving very quickly away from just a super simplistic idle clicker, it will quickly turn into one of the most engaging city builder type games that you'll see. You know, like, think Simpsons Untapped. Like that's where we sort of want to go with this. But you're right. I don't like city builder games, right? I just don't, right? I'd rather the competitive PvP nature. Even, in fact, I'd rather Overworld than Illuvium 0. However, I'm a businessman and I want to make cash, right? So that's why it's so important that we offer the suite to be able to say, you can buy the land, you own it. You're able to change the configurables for how you lend out this land to, we don't call them scholars, but to the people who don't have the liquidity up front to be able to play. You can set that percentage, and then anytime that they sell any fuel or potentially blueprints, which we should probably touch on.
That was my next topic, because that's the one thing that I get excited about, because I'm all about gotcha, RNG, pack opening, all that shit, and I love that stuff. So yeah, we'll get into that in a sec. But with that system, is it baked in? So like, you don't give them the asset, you're not making an account, like, because Axie was, you make an email, you give them access, but you're the only one with the wallet access. This is a full baked in system where they download their own app, and then you go, I'm giving you access, it's all mine, but you can just maintain it. You get permission to come onto my land, essentially.
You're lending them your NFT, okay, effectively.
Yep.
So they're the ones who go and play the game.
But do you have to give them the NFT to do that?
No.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Yeah, it's a secure way of lending.
So I mean, theoretically, yes, but it comes back to you. You can return it at any point.
Yep.
Right. So if your scholar is doing nefarious things, or he just simply isn't good enough, right? Like for example, so very, very similar situation would be Fancy Birds. I don't know if you've played that game.
Yeah, I played the early alpha.
So Fancy Birds have built this really cool lending platform where you can go and lend out your birds at any time. If someone isn't performing or they're just not, playing enough or whatever, then you can rescind that loan and you get your land back. And then you can either go, okay, well, that didn't work, I'm going to do it myself, or I'm going to find a different person to lend out the land to.
Yeah, and that's the good way. But I want to get into the blueprints now, because I want to know how with lending the blueprints work. Because if I buy a land And we find, so for the blueprints, it's to craft gear based on the alluvial that you're scanning and stuff like that. And as I understand it, it's a daily scan that you can go in and scan and try and find an alluvial. I'm pretty sure it's around that sort of mechanic. Is that correct?
It costs to scan.
Okay.
Right. It's a very expensive exercise to do a scan. It's not a very fruitful exercise. It's meant to be super rare. Right.
Yeah.
And this is like, I was actually just talking to Johnny about this before. It's sick. Like, I'm telling you. Okay. So think about it like this. So let's say you've got, let's call it, we make it 10,000 recipes that are potentially out there. So I build my singularity scanner on my land and I start, I think the video is going to do that scratchy thing, but we'll see how we go.
No, your camera's sitting fine for me. It's all good.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. So you're scanning and you've got these 10,000 potential recipes out there. Now, what these recipes do is, so you scan it and you get the bio data, right? And what you're hoping is that a little alluvial or big alluvial has come by your land and your scanner has been able to detect that. So then you get the bio data and you go over to the research lab. That's where it's expensive, right? So you're researching and it costs a bunch of money to research that bio data. Every now and again, super, super rare, you're going to get a blueprint that comes out of that. Now, this is where it gets real interesting. So I might be the only one who has that blueprint. So let's call it the Ramfy blueprint, right? Like I get that if I'm researching a particular set of armor, right? For example, the hybrid, let's call it the hybrid armor that you can use right now. I want you to even think about, I have the ability to do this now. And I want you to tell me if you want it, right? So I've got Atlas, right? And I've got that hybrid armor and I'm the only one who's scanned the data, done the research, and I'm the only one who holds that blueprint now. I can either mint the blueprint and it costs a lot to mint the blueprint, or I can mint it and then create that piece of that Atlas armor, and then I will be literally the only person.
Yeah.
Stay with me. So I then come in and I busted on my Atlas armor, and every other person in the beta is sitting there with that shitty little crappy armor that has no skin on it, right? You're going to be so pissed off. You're going to be like, what the fuck? How does he get that? So now I can mint you one and sell it to you if you want. Or I can sell you the blueprint and you can start your own business, right? Now, here's where it gets interesting. I might have set up the Atlas Armory, right? Where I am just pumping out these things. I'm the only supplier in the world. What's the price? Whatever the fuck I want it to be.
Yeah.
Right? But then 3 months goes by, all of a sudden someone else, their singularity scanner picks up the same blueprint, they do the research, they mint it. Now there's 2 people that can create those things. That screws that guy's business. So now he's like, okay, well, I've immediately, I was selling these things for 5 ETH. Now the best I can sell them for is 2.5 ETH. He has a decision to make. This business was going so well before this other guy popped up. Why don't I hit this guy up and say, dude, all right, I had this business. You've found it out. Great, amazing. But I need that blueprint. You can't have that blueprint, right? I need the monopoly because otherwise I can't charge crazy prices. So then that dude's like, well, I want 1,000 ETH for it. Because you're making 1 ETH for every one of these sales, and you've already had like 750 sales. So
knowing me, if I paid that, the next fucker would get it in 3 minutes' time, and I'd be fucked again.
But that's
the fun.
thing.
Yeah. I love it. I love
It's
it.
like,
And with
real world.
with the gear that you're making from the blueprints, is that aesthetic only? Like cosmetics
Yes.
only? Yes.
Yeah.
All the functional gear at the moment is from in-game, and then we get the aesthetics through the scanning. Now, what tiers can get blueprints? What tiers of land?
All tiers,
Yep.
apart from tier 0, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. And so, like you said, with that, now, is that something that you can reserve? So is it like each day, like you've got the scanner and you want to see if an alluvial came past, and then so whatever alluvials you've seen, you can then go research and pay to try and get that blueprint. Now, with that research, you said it's expensive and you've got a chance to get the blueprint. Is there a consolation prize if you don't get the blueprint, or is it all just burnt? Just get wrecked.
Burn.
That's sick.
Get wrecked.
That's sick. Yeah, it's a gotcha at extreme. That's pretty much what it is.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But you're the one who's greedy, not me. Hey,
100%. I can't wait to see how that pans out. And dude, now I'm gonna have to buy like a few pieces of land. I think. I'm just I'm thinking about it. Don't get me started. Anyway, moving on.
Just quickly on that, you mentioned Illuvatars. I'm going to hit you with some alpha here.
Ooh.
We have just finished set 2.
Set 2's done. Can you
sorry, when I got to stop saying set. There's one set. There's the first set is the 185 alluvials that we have.
Wave 2, are you going to refer to it as, or?
I've said batch. I kind of don't like batch, but we can. So let's just call it batch 2 of set 1 is done. I think we're gonna have batch 3 done before Illuvatars even launches. So everyone who was like, oh, but like the mechanism is because they're gonna have so many players, they had to allow unlimited minting. Unlimited minting means there's gonna be 8 trillion of these things, so they're not gonna have much value. How about you got 3 days to buy batch 1, and then you got another 3 days to buy batch 2, and then you got another 3 days to buy batch 3, and that's how limited the first 3 batches of Illuvatars are.
Shit, now I'm not buying land.
It's like, what do you do? Fuck, there's too many things to buy.
And have we thought more about dates for Illuvatars?
It has to be before. This is the trouble of like everything launches in June. Yeah. It has to be, in my opinion, it has to be before PvP, because that's your identity forever, 100%. Right? Like that is you, right? Like that's your not just your profile photo, it's your in-game universe avatar. It is you, and eventually, like I'm talking like down the track, I want to be able to turn these things into something that you take into a whether it's like a town hall thing where we like, instead of council meetings being like this boring thing in Discord, let's build like this like
platform
town, like a town hall where everyone crowds in, and you bring in like your little Illuvatar dude. He comes in and he's your voice. I don't know. That's fun to me.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a tight ripple into both things, and then hopefully into everyone getting access, and we can start getting some revenue distribution happening through gameplay and stuff like that, which will be sick. Now, the other thing that I wanted to touch on with land quickly is, are we going to get any alpha gameplay, some more footage, hands-on for people before the land sale?
I can't promise it. We're desperately trying. The problem is that like fucking everything, Grant comes in at the last minute and he's like, whoa, these aren't AAA graphics. And it's like, yeah, bro, like we get it. This is just meant to be the companion game. But he's like, nah, people don't think that way. They're going to see that's out there. That's not a mini game. That's an Illuvium product and it's not AAA. So can't do it. And we're like, dude, we built all of this. Like it's done. And he's like, I don't care. I'll do it myself. I will literally redo every single building myself. And so he's been doing that for the last, 6 to 8 weeks now or something. And he's promising me it will be done and ready to show before the land sale, but I don't want to set that expectation.
Yep.
But what I will say is it looks amazing, right? Like it looked cool before, like sort of Command and Conquer style vibes, but now it's like, wow, this is sick.
Yeah, and is all the back end all ready to go with the land sale? Because we're going to be purchasing on layer 1, minting to Immutable X. Is that all set up and ready to launch as soon as...
Done.
Beautiful.
Done. Yep.
So it's all ready to go. Dude, I'm literally standing here thinking, do I buy land or do I save up for fucking Illuvatars? And I have no idea. I have no idea what I'm going to do yet. But is there anything else with land that I haven't touched on that you want to let people know about and stuff like that?
All I'd say is there's a lot of people who sell land out there, right? There's a lot of people that will sell you things in Web3 first with a promise to deliver on it later. There is an alpha version of Illuvium 0 that we're playing, right? There's many people internally that are literally playing the game that land is going to be on. So effectively, we're probably going to have that alpha ready prior to the land sale. Like it's so close to being done.
It'd be good just to even get some more footage from Andrew to put a video together of some more footage just so people can get a feel, because there are some people that just want to buy a piece of land for the collector's value, but also because they want to play. So it'd be really nice just 100%. To see some more footage. Yeah.
And I guess that's my point, right? Like we have a game.
Yeah.
We have a whole ecosystem. There are people playing this stuff. You're not buying into something of a hope that it will actually get built. This is built. So just be mindful of that when you look at the different sales that are out there and the different marketing that comes across. Everyone's trying to sell you something. First, dig in and go, what is under there? Like what is there actually like? And if it's a bunch of concept art, get fucked is where I'm at. Yeah. Seriously.
And so this was when I first heard Illuvium was doing land, it gave me the shits because land just seems like something that makes no sense in the space. It feels like, I don't know who the first person to do land was. I don't know if it was Axie, but like it just became this thing where if you have a Web3 game, you've got to sell land. Like I look at, like I hate calling projects out, but something like Gala Games, like they announced like this Walking Dead game, and then like they had one trailer that was about 30 seconds long. Game didn't look good. Trailer wasn't the best graphics. And then they're like selling land. This was back when ETH was, between $3,000 and $4,000. And they were selling land for like 80 ETH and shit like that. I'm like, there's nothing. Like, it's not anything. The game isn't even anything yet. And it just blows my mind. But thankfully, we've got, like, I know Aaron's very, like, all about, like, if we have something, it has to have a use and be actually functional. So that was like the big relief when Illuvium's like when I first heard Illuvium's doing land, I was like, fuck, here we go. Now we're going to water ourselves down. But there's an actual use to it, which is the huge thing. Not just a use as in gameplay use, an actual revenue model behind it and how you're going to earn straight away. So that's the big thing for me. And were you going to touch on something on that?
Yeah. So I can be to blame for that. I don't like, I would have been okay if no one else built land. I would have been fine with that. But when everyone else started doing it, I get competitive and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do it, but we're going to actually do it with utility.
Yeah.
So I went to Aaron and I said, dude, like we need land. And he's like, fuck man. Like, why are we doing so he was with you. Like, trust me,
my point of view. Yeah.
100%. He's the purist. I'm the degen guy who's like, let's just extract as much money as possible. And he's like, but I said, to be fair to me, I was like, look, we got to do it. We have to do it, right? Everyone's doing it. We have to do it. But make it have utility. And I'm not even joking, man. Like 2 days later, he was just like, we shouldn't do it. I don't think we should do it. I'm like, man, everyone's doing it. It's going to be a big thing. Like, just please, can you just have a think about like how we would do it? And I had nothing. I was literally just like, make it good. And 2 days later, him and Johnny come back with this ridiculous thing. Like, and now it was a big thing. It's like, hey, this is going to interrupt the economy. It makes it like real world. And I was like, yes, like this is like, now it's fucking EVE Online. Like we're like, but real cash. Like,
yeah.
Yes. And so we will never do anything for no reason. right? Like never.
Yeah.
So you can rest assured that if we say we're going to sell something, there will be utility behind it. Exactly the same with Illuvitars and everything else.
Yeah, and 100%. And I think the big takeaway for the land sale is if you're unsure, don't spend money that you can't afford to, because there will be more land sales in the future. You can buy it off the secondary market, and you can play it free to play with tier zeros, or get what are we calling it? Not a non-scholarship, and you can actually play it and figure out if it's something you really enjoy, and then you can choose to invest and be like, okay, I get this system. I'm pretty good at this, because now it's not just about being good at a game for fun. Now it's like, okay, I'm good at this city builder stuff. I could actually do pretty well on revenue from playing this game, so I might now go ahead and purchase. But you can practice before you actually have to take that leap. There's 4 more land sales after this one, so take a breath and don't FOMO and don't stress out. And I just wanted to touch on that because I've just said the word FOMO and it's made me think about the Dutch auction. Now, obviously the Dutch auction, when we increased the prices of the land sale and stuff like that, the starting prices, it looks really steep, but the big thing is let the Dutch auction do its thing. Like I don't know if you have a different strategy, but I've said to people, once I decide what I want to buy, I will then choose a price I am happy to pay, and just do not go for anything above that price. Choose what you're happy with, and don't get the FOMO and pay more than you want to and wreck yourself, basically.
Yeah, I mean, as a lot of people know, I'm definitely going to get amongst purchasing land as well. I think it's a little bit, I mean, the strategy changes all the time. The market just crashed 50%. So
yeah.
There's different strategies there now. But for me, I think there's a lot of demand, obviously. We've got over 100,000 people that have uniquely signed up just for land updates. So, 20,000 plots, you look at that, that's a 1 to 5 demand in terms of just like interest.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I think it's probably going to be similar to the balancer sale, where it ends up being probably 20-30% off where the starting prices are. Maybe a little bit more aggressive for the tier 4s and tier 3s. They might come down to about 50% on average. I don't know, but it like there's so many variables. It's tough to make a call on it. But as you're saying, do not FOMO into this. It's not meant to be a FOMO sale. You have plenty of time. We've set it up so you don't have to have gas wars. There's batches that come through every single hour. There's new stuff for you to be picking up. There'll be new batches across all tiers except for tier 5. And so, yeah, even, you don't need to stay up for 3 days straight. Like, you don't need to kill yourself to try and get a piece of this land. We've made it so it's as accessible as possible for literally everyone. There's no one who's bought this land pre the sale, anything like that. This is pure fair launch for everyone. Just please don't FOMO in.
Yeah, and I just want to extend on that a little bit with the way I look at land. Land to me is an investment or a gamble, one of the two. You either want to earn the revenue or you want to gamble on blueprints. That's the two reasons I see someone buying land. You're not buying it for the game, because there is tier zeros, and if you're one of those people but like, I just want to play the game and be able to play the game, you can play the game with tier zeros. So land is an investment or a gamble, one of the two, and that's the way you should be looking at it, not being like, oh, I'm going to miss out on the experience of Illuvium because of it. Because that's the great thing about Illuvium. No one gets alienated from the game side of the game for not spending money. So you can always be involved. So that's the big thing for me. But yeah, dude, I think we didn't quite make our 15-minute video. We're at 40 minutes, but we tried. Is there anything else you want to say before we head off?
Nah, man, that's it. I love chatting to you. Everyone should subscribe to your channel. I think you're going to be the number one Illuvium influencer for a long time. That's my pick. So everyone should be subscribing to your channel.
I appreciate it, mate. Thanks a lot. But once again, thanks for coming on. Fuck,
no
what
worries.
am I going to buy, land or fucking Illuvitars? I don't know.